hard to hate 75 million of your fellow Americans, and
I agree.
It's done crazy.
And the Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables, hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the CEO of JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon, destroying far-left Democrats, those on television, MS-13, DNC, CNN, ABC, all the alphabet letter organizations, for how they treat conservative Trump supporters, also known as MAGA. Now, this is coming from a man who is no fan of Trump, okay? Let's look at a few things he said about Trump, okay? Here's a headline from, 2018. Jamie Dimon says he could beat Trump in an election. I'm smarter than he is. 2017. I strongly disagree with Trump's Charlottesville reaction and supported disbanding his business council. 2023, Jamie Dimon urges donors, even Democrats, to help Nikki Haley. So this guy is not a fan of Trump. He went to this particular event in Davos, Switzerland, for the World Economic Forum wearing a Ukraine pin. And part of his talk at Davos was about helping Ukraine. We got to give them more money. So understand who this guy is. A liberal, stone cold stomp down liberal. No bones about it. And if he's not a liberal, then I can't tell. He has all the markings of a liberal, but still he has a brain. He has common sense. And he says, hey, maybe we should treat these 75 million Americans as fellow Americans, and we shouldn't just say that they're deplorable, they're trash, all this and that and the third. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, this video and the articles will be in the box. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I wish the Democrats would think a little more carefully when they talk about MAGA, and if you travel this country, and the country's unbelievable. We took our bus trip this year, and Leslie Picker was on Spokane and Boise and Bozeman. People are growing. They're hungry to grow. They're innovating. It's everywhere. It's not just Silicon Valley. So we've got this great hand. But when people say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them, that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. And if you look, just take a step back, be honest.
Let's pause right here. Yeah, I'm not voting for Trump because I think he is a fantastic family man, all this, that, and the third. It's not even really about that. It's about the political part. Okay, what are you going to do for the country? How are you going to help us go forward? That's what it's about. All the other stuff, I mean, that'd be great if you could find like the Messiah, some perfect being, but that's not living in reality. What are you going to do for the country in this particular job? Okay. When I go get a hamburger from McDonald's or wherever I go, I'm not worried about the girl behind the counter living some kind of perfect angelic life. It's like, okay, throw the burger on the grill, put it in the bag, and have a nice day. As long as that transaction is good, then we're good. All the other stuff doesn't really matter. But I digress.
Honest. He's kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Mm-hmm. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand.
I see you worried about like calling it China virus. Well, where did it come from? Remember when Trump was calling it the China virus? They're talking about, oh, well, no, it didn't come from China. It wasn't their fault. But now the quote unquote lab leak theory is a real thing. It's mainstream. It's being spoken about. The very same thing that Trump was saying, and they called him a racist for, now is regular mainstream thought. So, I mean, come on, let's continue.
And he may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. But he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues.
Look, he's wearing a Ukraine pin, okay? Just understand who Jamie Dimon is. And he's saying these things. This is common sense. It doesn't matter if you're left, right, Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian. This is just basic common sense here. It's not even about a political affiliation. Like, I can say if a Democrat says something right or if they do something right without my political affiliation blinding me.
And that's why they're voting for him. And I think people should be a little more respectful of our fellow citizens. And when you guys have people up here, you should always ask the why. Not like it's a binary thing. You're supporting Trump, you're not supporting Trump. Why are you supporting Trump?
It's hard to hate 75 million of your fellow Americans. And
I agree.
It's done crazy.
And,
it's 75 million people, exactly. And when you go on television and hear these talking heads, it's like they hate half of the country. You can't have a union that functions this way. It just is not going to work. This is what causes civil conflict, civil unrest, where one side hates the other side. They're against each other. They can't get along. They can't make things happen. That does not bode well for a cohesive country.
Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables, hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really? Can we just stop that stuff and actually grow up and treat other people with respect and listen to them a little bit?
Very well said, Jamie Dimon. Again, Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JPMorgan, and this particular interview right here is out there in Davos, Switzerland, and people were there. There were quite a few interviews like this. They're there because of the World Economic Forum. Now, I think there was one more thing he said here that I kind of want to get to. Oh, talking about the border. Now, this is part of a larger conversation about the border. And again, I will link to everything in the box. Let's check it out.
If you do not control the borders, you are going to destroy our country. And so I think the people who think that somehow this is okay, so now they're sending the migrants into New York and stuff like that. So all of my super liberal friends, now they realize what a problem is. Did it have to be that? If you do.
There it is. He's like, hey, man, look, see, and this is part of the reason why the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is doing what he's doing. Part of the reason. One reason is because he's being overwhelmed at the border. 10,000 people a day. How are you going to be able to manage that in some of these small places like Eagle Pass, Texas, El Paso, Texas, etc.? Okay, El Paso's a pretty big place, but it's not that big to take on that many people. So it's like, okay, you guys want to support open borders in these northern liberal places? Okay, you take them. There you go, Chicago. There you go, New York. Your sanctuary cities, your sanctuary states. You advertise yourself as that. You run a campaign on that. Okay, well, take that. Now you want to cry and complain talking about, oh, we don't have anywhere to put them. Well, are you a sanctuary city and state or not? What do you want to do? Do you still support open borders, or do you only support open borders when it's not your particular borders of New York City, New York State being breached? You support the borders of Texas being breached, but not your own. Not in my backyard. You support it over there, but not over here. That's hypocritical. And again, part of the reason why Abbott is doing it is because if you guys want to support these policies, I want you to feel the effect of the policies so you really understand. So you get it right up close, right in your face. Then once you feel what we're feeling, you can empathize and maybe you'll change your direction. Maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe, just maybe, hopefully, potentially, perhaps you're going to vote in a different way to get guys out of office that don't care to close down the borders of the country and the city and state to all these migrants from all over the entire globe. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Jamie Dimon. What he said there was right. Again, this man wants to support Ukraine, big supporter of them, appears to be very liberal, doesn't really like Trump too well, but he understands you can't just cast away half of the entire nation. It doesn't make any sense. Most people are not even really that politically motivated. They just want what's best for them, okay? And just because the mainstream media, a lot of the elites may not like Trump, they got a bone to pick with him, they got a personal issue. Just because they feel that way does not mean that the rest of the country should feel the same way that they feel. And even if they do feel that way, it's a matter of choice. Okay, I'm picking between Biden and Trump. There are other people, but in reality, it's Biden and Trump. So who's the best one? Where do I have the best chance of being able to press forward in my life and be productive and be positive? Is it under the Biden administration, where we got high crime, high inflation, high everything, high people, high fentanyl, high crime, high illegal immigrant, high positive, nothing positive, high negative things, nothing positive. With Trump, it was kind of the reverse. So which one's the best option? Oh, I don't want to pick the best option because I got offended when he called the virus that came from China the China virus. Totally ridiculous. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion on what Jamie Dimon said here about Trump and Trump supporters and the border? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. What he said here was right on point. I don't agree with a lot of his other things about Ukraine supporting them, but about treating people right, half of the country, treating them with a little bit of respect and a little bit of kindness and understanding. I'm right on it. I feel the same way about Democrats. I can understand them as well. Now, once you get into the extremes of either side, I'm not a fan. Okay, extremists don't represent the majority of regular everyday people. Regular normies going to the polls to vote, which 99.99% of people, they are not represented. They are not represented by the extremes of either side. That's the reality, and that's what he was talking about. And if anyone says anything to the contrary, they're simply not being honest. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.